final day. There was incredible matches with a lot of pressure, a lot of crazy games, comebacks and whatnot. Those good matches that it's really going to fall off from there.
That's Garcia starting us off, and that is...
There was every one of these tournaments that kind of set up for, I wouldn't say the impossible, but the very unlikely. I think Ralph. But I don't know. I just kind of get that feeling. Talked to him earlier this week. Seems like in a great frame of mind. Feel like if Ralph could play a couple of those matches he really likes, it's almost like it reminds you of how to do it. Definitely not old, and probably you'd think he's about 10 years younger than he actually is. Neil's fan, kind of quietly going about his business. And
talk about age, even though Duong is...
Yeah, 40's that number that you can qualify to get. You know, a few of the last few years were very obvious, I thought, with Shane and Carlo Beato and whatnot. But I think, again, just perfect scenario to start one in the final. And pretty simple clearance, but again, got to move the cue ball a bit. And solid
the World
stuff.
Championship that year. Our first look at his break. How do you generally rate him as a breaker of the balls, JJ?
Another perfect one to start. Little wrap out of the lower left corner.
In Shane van Boening, the World Championship in Poland in early 2023. Went out in the quarterfinals, got to the quarters again at the Spanish.
All right, going to draw the cue ball, 2 cushions underneath him. A little left spin, just trying to fall somewhat straight on the purple.
Didn't really follow up on that
On tour, but it's still incredible field always. And tell you what happens when you have that breakout year. I think a lot of times it's so common we see good runs and they expect a little more. But then you kind of figure out, you just get back to that old cliche, that next ball in front. A dry break and a nice clearance without any stress. Good break off here without much worry, so just ideal for Duong.
Yeah, it's been perfection so far, and he leads 2-0.
Can really open up and play some great pools. So. Can't ask for much more than this. He's going to be a little thin on. Yeah, that's a smart shot. Now he just can kind of stun off the. I was wondering, he decided to try and draw back to get thinner. And he's going to play a safety, probably just come across the pink and slide underneath the 8.
Yeah, 4 from Spain as well. Garcia, one of those.
And this may bounce a hair, but I think the pocket. Perfectly struck there, holding it. They started at 11 this morning as well.
Yeah, that's the rebranded.
And they'll conclude tomorrow. So you'll be able to watch the juniors that make the deepest run. Going to be around a long time in this game. Well, he missed position.
Very much in control early on, Duong Quoc Hoang. Yannick Pongers eventually lost to FEDOR GORST in the final 64. And this looks pretty good again, Jake.
Yeah, what you asked about the breaking.
Like all the leading players.
Sizing up how he wanted to shoot this. Well, and he made that look a lot easier than you would think. I mean, yeah, the 6 must pass the 7 the way he played the balls out here with all the great players. And of course, I always go back to the great players always outwork the other guys, it seems like. But yeah, and you saw that. Why would he run into?
Over the first few days. We thought this one might be a bit closer. It may yet be, but Savador Garcia hasn't really been able to do much about it yet.
Pretty perfect so far. There goes the one again. The two's going to open up. And again, you can draw back and get better. That's okay as well, but why take that chance when you're going to have something natural here?
The shells there you just saw in the background.
Yeah, a couple Spaniards there, guys that make a lot of it.
As we were saying, lost to Garcia in the
away to the right side and maybe a little thin here on the 6, so he's going to have to work the cue ball. What a match that was.
Yeah, beat Anton Raga in the final.
This has got to slow down a little bit. Stay on the right side of the table. No reason to come across.
Putting on a show here. This is about as well as you can play. He's already halfway to victory, Duong Quoc Hoang.
Room. Looks like he's trying to get underneath it. Yeah, beautiful. Might make this, though. Makeable at a light speed. Yeah, at a light speed, you realize you could hit it the exact same way. Oh, no.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure of that. So this a chance to get his first. Oh, that's not a good sign. I mean, we were saying earlier there's not much he could have done about it, but
hurting quite a bit. Little safety behind that purple here. Beautiful touch. Look at the maximum he's gotten out of this. I think into the cue ball. Well, great hit. And I thought he'd have to roll this, which makes it just a hair missable. He could hit it with a little more speed. I thought he was going to be thin off the purple, maybe.
Mentality now, the fact that he's achieved that.
Well, it's something I don't think you feel consciously. It just kind of, also everything's starting, you know, with short races. So again, the energy and I think it just confirms to maybe his team, and he's got a little bit of a team that he works with.
Well, we've been saying did have a chance in this rack. That just shows when you're up against, you've got to make them count. Instead, Duong has extended his lead again. So it's 6-0 now.
Maybe because he beat me at the UK Open a couple years ago in Edinburgh, and I really liked what I saw. Felt like a lot of talent was there, and really hasn't had as much to get naturally from the 3 to the 4. I don't know if this is going to be what he wants. This may fall a little straight. The thing you need to remind yourself is how good you are. Like, you can handle a lot. It doesn't have to be perfect when you're a little out of line. Just work a little.
Plays the next ball and doesn't seem to really think he's doing anything special. That's his whole demeanor.
Well. The players that just hit balls, you know, in a sense, when they're training, then all is.
Certain now to make his 4th break and run of this match. Lovely rhythm to the way he goes about it. And he's going about it very well at the moment.
Yeah, the 2's nearing the cue ball again. That's always a good sign. And I'll tell you, a whole lot of time left, it seems like, Michael.
Yeah, winner of this, as I was saying, will play either Alexa Pechelj of Serbia. 1 round in the afternoon, let's say, and 1 round in the evening each day now, all the way to the end.
Yeah, and I think he just does everything right, you know, or what makes sense. You know, kind of sachets around the table a little bit, calms you down, but I think helps your stroke.
breaking runs in the last 5 racks. And 5 in the last 7.
Yeah, just keep it simple though this week. Seems like there's always a pocket, Michael, that plays
Continue the route. Wonderful stuff from Duong Quoc Hoang. He's made the one in the side every time.
Yeah, another great shot. Purple, like I said.
And here we go again.
US Open, of course, he went on to win it, but Ko-Ping Chung made all the balls in the match with a goose egg, obviously. Doing his work. Duong might not have a clue that's the case.
You just sort of feel he goes off into his own work.
Yeah, that's why, you know, work with a lot of amateurs and talk about practice and whatnot. And they say, well, I can't times, but the best feeling in the world is when you are kind of playing by yourself at the table, which is not bad. But I think on the slick table, maybe the left. Yeah. How's the speed?
Match. 9-0 to Duong Quoc Hoang. Well, you know, that's the only way you can react, isn't it, what Garcia? The later stages of a tournament, you're out there on the main table and you've basically just sat there and watched. In which he didn't pot the one in the side pocket.
If you can hit it, safeties or making it the one maybe. Look at this, ball's going to spin. Gets him over the purple a little bit with the one-up table.
Yeah, the other one I was talking about.
Special player.
He was world champion at 16 and almost won that US Open.
Incredible stuff. Good effort. It's just one of those days, Salvador. Not a whole lot of options. Of course, the 1-2, no problem. He's going to hold to kind of draw maybe down near the 6-7 to play the 3 in the side. And you talk about the PLP, you know, we've seen what it's done for other players as well. Is he going to get the gap here by the purple, the 8, and up the right side of the table? Of the pink a bit. Pretty good, but think about this a little bit. It needs a little bit of an angle. Or is he just going to play for short side on? Well, I'm not sure. Does this? What's he looking at? Rope-a-dope. Kind of like Ali did to his guys. Oh my goodness, he shot the 8 into the 7.
Oh my word, what a thing to do. He's played the balls in the wrong order.
Man, I can't believe the referee's not really on top of it.
Oh, well, what a way for it to end, which it's going to now.
Oh, we've seen some craziness this week on the main table, but I think that...
You just can't believe a player could do that.
Well, especially because he didn't get down and just shoot it. He had a, you know, good 20, 25 seconds to kind of recognize.
Well, you know, if you end up losing 10-0 and the other guys just played really well, there's nothing to be too embarrassed about, but he's given himself something to have a little embarrassment over with that extraordinary